Welcome to SSU TV. My name is Matt Page. On today's show, we'll be talking soccer. It's more specifically the Sounders matches versus Chicago and Colorado, and maybe even a little bit of U.S. men's national team action. Joining me on the show, as usual, we have Ian Loney and Abraham Deweese. So, Abraham, we played the Chicago Fire recently, and we lost 0-1.
We didn't lose 0-1. We lost 0-1 in the 92nd minute to the second worst team in the entire MLS. This was unacceptable in my opinion. Unacceptable. I don't believe that we could just lose our concentration and give up a goal by forward Jason Johnson in the 92nd minute.
Yeah, the goal was sloppy, but honestly, I don't think that was the real problem. The real problem was the complete lack of anything resembling offense in that match.
We were some men down, weren't we?
Yeah, we were down a lot of guys. We were down Clint Dempsey, of course, and we were down Obafemi and Fry and Evans and Papa.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about an entire starting roster.
Half the roster, yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
and you're talking about two guys that are U.S. men's team worthy. Mm-hmm. You're talking about Stephen Fry, who is all world. Well, okay, all MLS.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, let's not get crazy. He's no Hope Solo. Yeah. But we're talking about the captain, Brad Evans. We're talking about Clint Dempsey. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Marco Papa, who is the attacking midfielder that runs this offense.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He is definitely the facilitator, especially when Clint and Oba are both in there, even if one of them's in there. Nagel, if he doesn't have anyone to feed him the ball, is frankly not that good because he's just a poacher as a forward.
Yeah, and Chad Barrett, the other replacement forward, he's good for a game here and there. He was never meant to play 6 games in a row, and that's what he's been doing.
Yeah.
And it showed. It showed during this game. Well, I noticed in that Chicago game that Tony Perkins, the backup to Stephen Fry, stopped 6 shots on goal. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Good. Pretty solid performance.
Granted, the other team the Fire were just shooting a lot of goals from like 19 yards out or whatever. So
that's not just Chicago. That's every team that's been playing the Sounders. The Timbers shot about 18 shots, and I could tell you, just about half of them were outside the penalty box.
Well, that's the Timbers. I mean, they're just going to do things like that.
Well, it's the Timbers, but it's also the Fire. It's also.
I think it speaks to a lack of quality among these teams, though. Honestly, it's part of the MLS. I mean, it's a lot of teams in MLS. It's their problem is they just don't have the quality to do a gradual build-up that will allow them to get good chances, like the Sounders do when healthy.
All right. Well, moving on, we also played the Colorado Rapids, and we lost 0-1. Ian?
This time we didn't lose in stoppage time. We lost in the 84th minute.
Well, thank God we lost in regular time rather than overtime.
A little better.
Well, this was particularly frustrating in that in the first half there were several key opportunities that should have been followed through and should have been put in the net. Oh. In fact, one was put in the net in the first minute. Tomas scored a goal, but Nagel was offsides.
Yeah.
And it was evident. It wasn't a bad call. It was accurate.
Thomas had another great shot that was a great save early in the match too. That probably should have gone in as well. But that said, they did give up a goal to a long ball and a one-man beating 2 defenders.
Should have never happened. Should have never happened. Not on your home turf. One thing I noticed, Ian, was that the Colorado Rapids had just finished winning 3 games in a row. Now they won. Now they won their 4th, and they switched formations. They switched to a 4-3-3. So that means 3 forwards attacking.
Yep.
Should the Sounders do something like that?
I don't think so, and here's why. I don't think the Sounders team is built in a way that a 4-3-3 would be conducive. I think that a 4-3-3 requires a lot of speed and specific talents in the outside forward positions that the Sounders just don't possess. They're lacking wide midfielders, much less good attacking wing forwards.
And I guess it's easy to switch formations when you're desperate, when you're the last place team like the Colorado Rapids.
You got nothing to lose.
But, the Sounders are still in first place in the Western Conference.
Somehow.
Yeah. Well, that speaks to the ineptitude of the Whitecaps and the Timbers.
Yes.
But no, I think you're right. I think switching midstream is probably a bad idea. Plus, Ziggy Schmidt never has really coached a 4-3-3.
No.
He's always been pretty big on...
Siggy Schmidt has his system, and he likes to use his system, and that's always been kind of the thing.
All right, so let's move on to kind of a state of the Sounders right now.
Okay.
So we've got Frey and Oba, both are injured?
Yes, they are still injured. And, their backups, in my opinion, are not good enough. Tony Perkins actually did a really, reasonable job for what this is. But the problem is you're not Stephen Fry.
I do think Perkins is being better game to game, just seeing regular playing time with the first team too. I mean,
That does help.
He's starting to get a little bit of chemistry with Marshall and the back line, but it takes time.
It does take time, but you know what? We don't have time. Time's not a thing that we have. And you're looking at Tony Perkins, who's actually kind of old, and you're looking at Chap Barrett, who's kind of old, and he's the backup for Obafemi Martins.
Yeah.
And you're looking at Lamar Nagel, who is old, and these aren't guys that were meant to play game after game after game.
Yes.
And we got to get these guys back. We got to get Fry back, and we got to get Oba back.
Now, thankfully, Oba sounds like he's only a couple weeks away at this point.
Only a couple of weeks away.
Yeah.
But you actually brought up a good point to me earlier, off screen, in that even when he gets back, he's going to take time.
Yeah, it's going to take him time to get up to full match fitness, and
Yeah.
I mean, he'll probably only play with his first game back. He'll probably only play a half or something, or 50 minutes or something like that. And frankly, they're going to have to create some things without him, even when he's back. So they're going to have to figure it out.
In. Yeah. You mentioned the standings earlier on, and the inadequate, competition, I guess. I mean, why are we still first?
Well, basically,
Because I watch this team, and it's just
the Timbers and the Whitecaps. Honestly, they can't play on the road. They have no capacity to play on the road.
And add to that, when they were healthy, they were so good. I mean,
they built up a big lead.
They built up a big lead, and they're going to have a hard time choking to the point where they get knocked out of the playoffs or even have to play in the play-in game or something like that. So I'm not super concerned about the season at this point, but I hate to be stuck in some must-win games in September.
Yeah, well, I am super concerned because I think the must-win games are coming up pretty soon. But if I take a look at the Timbers, and if I take a look at the Whitecaps and Real Salt Lake, and even Colorado, these teams that are definitely not the equal of the Sounders, they play like our equal when they play us.
Yes.
We got a big target. We got a huge red target on our backs, and we always have, it seems like.
But here's the question, though. Does LA worry you?
LA does worry me. They do.
As always.
they should always worry.
They always get off to their slow start, and now they're starting to pick up steam again, and here they come. But anyway, so it'll also be nice. Evans and Deuce are away with the Gold Cup right now.
Yeah, what the great news about that is the Gold Cup is wrapping up. So we'll be getting them back at some point.
Very soon, yeah.
Not very fresh, but we'll
get something back. Yeah. Get leadership back.
Well, so it is a transfer window right now. So I read that early in the week that apparently Obafemi Martins has been for some time dating the sister of Mario Balotelli. I'm wondering if there could be something that we could accomplish with that relationship.
So, like bringing Mario to the team?
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Well, how much would we need to pay Mario?
A lot.
Pay the man.
No, what is it? I mean,
Pay the man.
We'd have to pay him, I would guess.
$6 million.
No.
10 million.
10, 12 million a year, yeah.
Do the new rules for the MLS allow for a transfer of that dollar value?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Now
they would have to buy out Alonso, so he's not a DP anymore, which the new rules allow for. And, yeah, they would have to make him a new DP.
Now, isn't Balotelli a forward?
Yes, Balotelli is definitely a forward.
So what do you do with Obafemi Martins and Clint Dempsey?
You'd probably either go to a 4-3-3.
Right.
Or you'd drop Dempsey back into a Cam type role.
So Cam being attacking midfielder.
Yes.
So basically Pineda, Marco Papa.
But
type
more pronounced. Your formation would be more of a diamond type thing, probably, with him.
Okay. So you'd move Marco Papa to the wing with Pineda on the other wing. Center.
Or Rose, yeah. Or Thomas.
Or Andy Rose. Okay. Okay, now that gives us
this is pure speculation.
This is pure speculation. I mean,
It's
fun
to talk about, yeah.
This is a lot more interesting. Than the two losses we just watched.
Absolutely.
But no, that'd be amazing because if you brought Dempsey into the midfield, you got the best midfield in all of
you have a lot of creativity up there, yeah. Anyway.
All right, well, getting out of daydreaming land, that would be, great to do, but let's move on to back to reality, unfortunately. The U.S. men's national team, they're doing pretty well. They're 3-0-1, right?
Yep.
They're doing a good job beating up on little Caribbean countries.
That's not fair. Panama's not in the Caribbean.
Yes.
Neither is Honduras.
Yes. Dempsey had an awesome game against Cuba, from what I heard.
Yeah, he scored a hat trick and he had 3 goals. He has 6 total goals now. 3 against Cuba and then a bunch. I bet you're right. These are all little Caribbean nations that I don't really care to beat.
We play 5 games just so we can play Mexico in the final. It's unbelievable.
Why don't we just play Mexico?
Why don't we just play Mexico
and call it good? Yes.
Skip right to it, yeah.
All right, so I was talking with soccer editor Richard Michelson, and he was mentioning that this is important. The Gold Cup is important because Jurgen Klinsmann wants to get the U.S. team on this international stage, and he wants to get them into that. What's the next phase? Not the CONCACAF. It's the next stage for this, where the team that wins the Euro.
So that they're able to play in the preliminary to the World Cup tournament.
Exactly. And I guess I get what he's saying, but I'd rather have our guys back on the Sounders.
Yes,
honestly, with something like the Gold Cup, first of all, there's 2 of them, so they only have to win. I mean, if they win the other one, they get it too. So, frankly, it's kind of a club before country right now. The Sounders are beat up. They need their players.
Yeah.
They especially need Dempsey if he's playing out like this. Like I said, he scored a hat trick against Cuba. He scored 6 goals in the tournament. He's on fire right now, and we could really use.
Boy, we could have used those 6 goals.
Ouch, yes.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? I mean, if we look at the Gold Cup, is this thing even worth it? I mean, I'm looking at the attendance figures for Baltimore, 40,000, and that's in a stadium that holds 80,000.
Well, Josie Altidore clearly doesn't think so.
Yeah, Josie Altidore's he quit the men's national team because he's not in perfect health. But yeah, maybe part of him is like, you know what, I don't need this game that doesn't really mean all that much.
Yeah.
But you got like I was saying, the Baltimore Stadium half empty. The Georgia Dome in Atlanta, that's like half empty.
Well, they're building that Sphincter Stadium for them here soon, so
the Sphincter Stadium.
The roof kind of goes in like this. It looks like a anyway.
All right. Moving on.
Well,
so you feel Seattle should have received this game? Is what
I
you're
feel
saying.
like Seattle should have got this game over some useless Manchester United. International
Loss.
friendly that we don't care. No,
Club
Man U won.
America, which
Man
is
U
the team
won.
we all root for, of course.
It doesn't matter.
Well, whoever was playing against Man U would have lost. Anyway.
We would have filled up the stadium against Haiti or something like that. So,
So Abraham, you were telling me earlier that you saw an article about Americanizing soccer.
yeah, there's a Seattle Times article. Somebody wrote a editorial about doing things like having more scoring, fewer offsides, not regulating the accidental handball, ties, jargon, all this good stuff. Some are actually good points. Some are way off base, but knowing a lot of people in America who aren't really hip on soccer, they have these arguments.
Well,
A lot of people have these arguments.
It sounds
Yes.
a lot like the rules they tried when they first launched MLS, where they had shootouts and the clock counted up, and there was less offsides and all that kind of stuff, and they ended up almost folding when they did it. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that. But I mean, like, I still think some of the things are they could do. For example, I think they could loosen up the jargon a bit, because I feel like the language of soccer, for a lot of people, especially in Seattle, it's meant to exclude people. And I think people love the idea, I know some fancy words, and I'm going to use them, and I'm going to try to sound like I know what I'm talking about. But yeah.
I don't know. I think that they're trying to change. It's a global game. We want to make sure we're playing somewhat close to global rules, I feel. And I don't think adding TV timeouts is a healthy thing for soccer, and I don't think more substitutions is a healthy thing for soccer.
I don't think the substitution of TV timeouts is good, but the mid-season break, this idea that Clint Dempsey and Brad Evans are taken from us, especially when we need them the most.
Need them, yeah.
International
That-
breaks,
it
I
bugs
think,
me.
are a very
That
good
is a very
idea.
good idea, absolutely.
Yes.
But yeah, you can't change too much before you lose the international appeal of the game.
Well, MLS needs to adhere to FIFA international standards as far as international breaks and letting their players
Yes.
go to their national teams and not have their club teams be completely hampered like
Yeah.
the Sounders always are.
Another thing that not Manchester City, but let's call it baby Manchester City.
Oh, NYCFC?
Yeah, New York City of football club. What am I-
Minor
Man City
leagues.
Junior,
Yeah,
yes.
Manchester City Junior. They are basically playing on a field that's like half the size of a regular soccer field.
Yes.
That's got to
in
end.
Yankee Stadium. Well, they are building a new stadium eventually.
Oh,
but
they
yes,
are? That's
yes.
good, because this is unacceptable, the stadium
Yes.
that they have.
All right, well, that looks like all the time we have for today. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Be sure to visit our website at seattlesiadeup.com for daily coverage on your favorite Emerald City teams. And feel free to like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Seattle Side Up. From the SSU TV studio here in Edmonds, Washington, I'm Matt Page with Ian Loney, Abraham DeWeese, and thank you for watching.